do kind of a similar thing, but of course a Feral Druid instead of that Assassination Rogue. Radopi, Holy Paladin, there's some questions there, but it's good enough, I think. It's good enough.
It's coming from someone who queued with him. Nothing but confidence. It's
all right.
Got a couple questions. It's good enough. But ultimately, this is the flexibility that we need to start seeing out of Ascendant. How will it look? We find out now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the gates have opened as Radopi switches over to Holy Paladin. It's going to be important for his team moving forward into future turns that he does start to multi-class, so this will be the test for Radopi. We see a preemptive Blessing of Protection and Trinket as they want to get very aggressive early on, landing an early Repentance. Radopi adopting this aggressive Repentance playstyle to try and take out the Jungle Cleave. Flappers trinketing up to trade with the Vendetta early on. That's a fair trade for him. Radopi now caught into a Wyvern. Valet needs to be careful. This could be a Dispersion. It's a race. Dizio dipping low as well. Dispersion gets traded out. Radopi leaving that trap. If they can land another Repentance, they could secure the aspect of the turtle or a kill. Radopi still locked down. He's going to be marching towards Rels, I can imagine, shortly. Avenging Wrath should allow Valet to easily stabilize as he jumps into Void Form, but a huge ferocious bite connects another huge heal, counteracts it from Radopi. Valet getting stunned up. Rels are trying to dispel dots. Blessing and Protection on Valet to get him aggressive on top of him. He gets knocked away from the Scream. Great play from Dizio. Radopi gets counter shot. Dizio, defensive MV play right here, but Radopi now gets bursting shot on the Repentance. They need to delay the Repentance as long as possible to secure a trap. This could be a Trinket likely. I almost would much rather see him Trinket, sack, and go for a Repentance and try and end the game. Now Radopi is just falling behind. He's going to Trinket and sack, look for the Repentance again. He lands it. Dizio feign deaths all the dots off. Valet reapplies it. They're going after Flappers. Flappers has no Trinket. Relsa managed to premonition the Repentance and avoid it. Great play from him. This could allow them to be greedy, but I don't think so. And that was a ton of damage out of nowhere to sneak a kill in. Relsa avoided the longest crowd control. Dizio was feeling safe as a result.
Compositions that they could run themselves. So I think Ascendant locking in RMP blind is intelligent. If they know they're playing jungle, then they have this counter crop prepared to win those off matches. So I think it was smart.
But we do need to keep momentum in mind as well. Ascendant going to be going back to their Rogue and Mage here to go up against Relsa, Dizio, and Flappers on the composition that they have piloted all the way to get that first place at BlizzCon, that first seat at BlizzCon, that first ticket to BlizzCon. Let's see what can Ascendant do in the face of such an overwhelming composition.
And this is the swing match. Ascendant have to win this basically at a slight disadvantage, if you can really call it that, so that when they get to a game 5, they can lock in that Assassination Rogue Shadow Priest into the jungle. So it's very important for Ascendant to win this game if they want to take the entire series.
Yeah, and Dizio and Relsa playing that Relentless, and I think it's intelligent because if Dizio can stand far enough away from Relsa, it's really difficult for Acro to land the stuns on Relsa to set up the crowd control, and then also get to Dizio and have that stun lock last long enough where they can get off that significant burst. So I think it is really, really smart. I also think Relsa's playing Divine Radiance in this matchup as well. That's why we saw him go so fast. It also allows him to top off his team very quickly out of crowd control.
So Pain Suppression used preemptively. Relsa loves to use those cooldowns to get his team aggressive. That will allow Dizio to sit through that full stun lock basically for free. Maro now trying to blink away as Radopi's caught in crowd control. Temp Shield activated, but they haven't done any damage into it. Now waiting for it to end. Flappers pops the Incarnation. Dizio disengages right on top of Maro. That's going to be a lot of damage. That's going to be a first block forced out. And on this map, Reformed looks so much better in the matchup. Acro's trying to find some counter pressure. He's got Shadow Blades up. He's looking to pull that Shadow Dance. Relsa getting counter spelled. He's going to kidney shot. Look for a poly. They get the poly. Dizio's far away though. He could kite. He gets rooted by the flurry and gets caught into a cheap shot and just gets deleted instantly from the arena. And this was the swing match. That's exactly what Ascendant wanted to put this series back in their favor.
You guys want to know what the difference is between this game and game number 1 opener? This game, Maro didn't use a single spell in the opener because he knows Relsa is going to PS Dizio first global. Flappers is going to be in bear form because Dizio has pain suppression. We're not going to get anything in the opener. Let's just do a setup where we land the poly, bait out the pain suppression, and then we go again. Of course, that Frostbolt was the best Frostbolt in the entire expansion. Proccing Frostbite on Dizio so Acro can connect. Proccing Flurry so Dizio gets one-shotted. And I mean, we can just take a look at exactly how that happened. You can see on the bottom left of your screen that Maro hasn't used Icy Veins. He has Frozen Orbs still available. You can see Radopi is moving forward towards Relsa. He hits the counter spell there on that Shadow Mend. So Relsa actually can't fear Radopi as well. Frostbite procs. There is the Flurry proc as well with the Comet Storm. Cheap shot. Dizio uses his human racial, but dies in the same.
We're jumping straight to this matchup. Ascendant versus Reform. Ascendant just needs one more victory. One more victory to be staying in that upper portion of the bracket. Will Reform be able to tie it up here?
If you need to calm down, you're getting violent. What if you broke something there? That was a close one. I'm worried for Zico.
Yeah,
I'm not too worried.
Shaking a little bit.
He's going to be fine. Don't worry.
3 North Americans on this desk.
Yeah,
oh my God, doesn't stop.
All right, the gates have opened. Ascendant looking to knock Reform down into the lower bracket. Move that much further to the finals of this tournament. Now let's see how Ascendant decides to open up here. You can see Acro slowly moving in on Stealth. Ratify really not a target, so he can play aggressive very early on. Polymorph onto Dizio, kidney shot onto Relza. This is a very nice setup coming in from Ascendant. It looks like Bash over on the Ratify, silence on Morrow. Maybe Reform able to find that initial pressure.
They did the preemptive pain suppression, preemptive survival instincts, and again, Morrow did an Icy Vein, so we might see a rinse and repeat of that game on Runes of Lordaeron with Shadow Blades already rolling. Acro is waiting to pull the trigger. The next kidney shot poly on Relza could secure a kill. Morrow's now moving forward to get into position, jumping down off the balcony, blinking into line of sight. Acro needs to get ready, but a block is going to be forced as Dizio is crowd controlling Ratify up. No Mass Dispel attempt here onto Morrow. There's the kidney shot. Will Morrow get the poly? He blinks in, he lands it. There's going to be a ton of damage if he pops Icy Veins. He's holding on to it. He's trying to bait more cooldowns. He gets a trinket, survival instincts before the smoke bomb. He might even just die through it. I almost wonder if he did Icy Veins that Flappers would have died right there. He might still die ultimately as the smoke bomb gets dropped, but he jumps out of it 1 second before it landed, and I think Acro got a little bit ahead of himself there. If he had been patient, went for that smoke bomb later on, Flappers had no way to get out of it.
Yeah, Morrow still had the Icy Veins as well, so I think that patience would have definitely paid off. Morrow now having to play a little bit defensive here with the bash onto Ratify. Dizio bursting shot onto Ratify, followed up most likely by the trap. There it is. Morrow all by himself. Ratify trinkets out to keep him alive. Still has the Rapture and Paint Stop available. But Flappers and Dizio both could be in potential trouble here if Relza gets caught in any more crowd control.
All right, Flappers trying to get a second block here. Ratify not crowd controlled though. There's a counter shot onto the heel. Morrow fully shielded up though. He should be quite tanky. There's the stun. Dizio needs to land the trap, but they set up for the kill onto Flappers. If they had a smoke bomb here, but they don't even need it. Full polymorph secured. I don't know how Flappers is going to make it out alive. Bear form might not be enough. He charges over, but they got no interrupt for the poly, and Flappers will fall. Ascendant advance 3-1.
Ascendant 2. I think the other thing that we need to note is they just look even better than we've seen in the past. I feel like this is a team that, yes, they were streaky, just seen them go toe-to-toe with the first team to make it to BlizzCon, send and Reform down to the lower portion of the bracket.
Yeah, and this game here is the first game that we actually get to see the punish of Relza's talent choice.
With that upper portion of the bracket, Tempo Storm versus Method Black going to be our next matchup here. Then, what do you think about this one?
Well, if history is to repeat itself, Method Black is going to be a very difficult opponent for Tempo Storm. We'll have to see if they have a little bit more confidence, like Sid was saying earlier. Sometimes, even though they have the same compositions, they don't opt to go for those mirror matchups. I'm going to be curious to see, are we going to see the Elemental Pirate matchup play out in a